Hello, sixth grade, and welcome to your Big Three for lesson number 5. We are going to talk about ways to divide the earth into regions. If you remember back to the first unit we talked about Mr. Help, and the R for Mr. Help is region, and that is a way to divide a place into a smaller area with things that they have in common. So we are going to talk about ways to divide the earth into regions for this lesson. I am going to go through your big three with you verbally, just as I would if you were in class with me. The only thing is you don't have the pages in front of you. You're just going to have to pause this video when you deem appropriate, and then you can copy the notes down. So what we have here is our graphic organizer for lesson 5. And as you can see, it's a bubble map. In the middle, we have ways to divide the earth into regions. And on the outside, we have the 5 major ones that we're going to talk about. The 6th one down here just says question marks if we were to come up with other ways. But for the sake of time, we're just going to talk about the top 5. So starting with the bottom left, we can talk about dividing the earth into regions by natural characteristics. Again, things that occur in nature. By continent, we have 7 continents, if you remember correctly from our continent competition. By hemisphere, we have 4, north, south, east, and west. Time zone is something we're going to be talking about. And human characteristics, which are man-made characteristics. So scrolling down, again, pause when you need to. Here is our big ideas for lesson 5. A region is an area with at least one characteristic or feature that sets it apart from other areas. These common characteristics or features help bind a region together. Again, they share a commonality that groups them together. Regions make it easier to study large areas of space, such as the Earth, by dividing it into smaller chunks. So if we think about the Earth and we know that there's 8+ billion people on Earth, it's easier to look at certain areas if we chunk it out. So that's why we can divide it into the 4 hemispheres and look at it that way. We can divide it into the 7 continents and look at it that way. And the earth doesn't seem so big and domineering and overwhelming when we're trying to study it. There are multiple ways to divide the world into regions. However, we're just going to focus on the 5 that was mentioned in your graphic organizer. Regions can be based on natural or human characteristics, or human characteristics that often reflect factors relating to history, economics, culture, and politics. And here are your vocabulary words. You have 3. So number 17, region. We've had this word before, but they're doing it again because this lesson is focusing specifically on regions. A region is an area with at least one characteristic or feature that sets it apart from other areas. Example, dividing the earth into regions often makes it easier to study the earth. 18, hemisphere, a region created when the earth is cut in half. Example, the earth can be divided into the western hemisphere and eastern hemisphere, or northern and southern. And finally, number 19, continent, a large unbroken landmass surrounded by water. So we actually are going to talk about how there are 7 continents by name, but we will learn a little bit this year and a little bit more next year that a continent is actually an unbroken landmass surrounded by water. So if we look into detail in the continents, we actually only have 4 continents because North and South America are connected with no separation, and Asia, Europe, and Africa are all connected with no separation. It's quite interesting, but we're not going to get into that too far. Example, Africa, Antarctica, Asia, Australia, Europe, North America, and South America are commonly considered to be the 7 continents of the world. So that is your big 3 for lesson 5. This is your assignment to go along with your CNN for today, Monday the 20th. So please copy that into your study guide. It is very important that you are continuing the habit of copying your study guide notes into your study guide because that is something we are going to continue with as 7th graders. And on your quiz, I do not allow retakes because you have the opportunity to use notes that I provide you. So make sure you're copying these notes into your study guide so that you have them when I assign a quiz, whether it is in class or in the online virtual world. I hope you have a great Monday. Remember, pause when you need to. You can rewind, watch this as many times as you want. Just get those notes copied. All right, you guys, have a great day.